Some episode of the Gathering Movement interview series. I'm here today with Nick Pags. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Let's do this thing.
Me too. It's funny. I don't really do much research on people. I don't really prepare much. I kind of just love to go with the flow. And when I saw your title of Living a Limitless Life, I was like, we're going to have a nice time.
Yeah, we are. I love it.
Sweet. So I always love to open the conversation with a question about empowerment. And I'd love for you to share how your work in the world, your mission really empowers people to be a leader of their own life.
Yeah, I think what attracted me to your show and what I'm excited to talk about today is that has kind of become my whole life, which is pretty wild. It was, I think, accidental. Like it started, the very miniature version was that I was in the fitness industry since I was 17. So it was all about serving the people around me and all about empowering people physically. But what I didn't realize during the time of the beginning stages of that was that people were working with me because it was way more than physical. I was working with their mind and their spirit. And it just came from being a high energy guy and making people feel good. And it was nothing fancy. Like there was no wow, this guy is doing something special. It was just good energy. And then eventually it shifted into this space of really allowing myself to dive deep into people's vulnerabilities and experiences of life and give myself permission to ask uncomfortable questions. And what that did was allow people to create uncomfortable answers that empowered them. And I think that the easiest way to express the work that I do is that it started from me trying at 21 years old in a workout studio, trying to motivate people. So I would read books or study things that were motivating. And I would come in to try and say to them, do this, do that, be that, right? Which is what the motivational speaker does. But when you're 21, 22, and you're speaking to successful 50-year-old multimillionaires, which is the area that I was teaching in at the time, they're looking at you like, what? Please, stop it. What are you doing? So I really, in order to connect with these people and create success and having them come back to my classes, I had to figure out a way to connect with them without having 40 years of life experience. And I figured out that the way to do that was through questioning. What if I asked them a question that then they had to answer themselves and get their own answer and then feel empowered through their own answer? Because when we figure something else, this is our inner child. When the kid, if you want a kid to go take a bath and they don't want to take a bath, you don't say, it's time to take a bath. You say, can you help me turn the bath on? And then what do? They think it's their thing. They created it. So they feel empowered. Now they want to take a bath. We're not so matured, interestingly enough. Ask someone a question, allow them to come up with their experience or their understanding or their answer from an inner wisdom. They then feel empowered to live out that awareness they created.
Totally. And I'm just sitting here laughing for myself because I've always been the person who hasn't really loved authority. I don't really love when people tell me what to do. And for most people, we run the other way. We're like, well, if someone tells me I should do it this way, I'm going to do it the opposite way. Right. So what you're saying is instead of telling someone what they should be doing, especially as a 20-year-old, advising 50-year-olds, you started asking them questions so that they could come to their own conclusions.
Exactly. And it was a game changer because it put down, how do I say it? It took the wall away. We all are very protective of ourselves. Not all of us, but I think most people walk around with a protection mechanism to this is who I am. And don't you dare try and target that. So then you go into a room and somebody's telling you how to live your life, certainly some workout bro, it's your wall goes up. But if somebody says hey, are you living your best life right now? Are you giving what you can give? Simple statements like that. All I'm asking, I'm just asking you a question. I'm not saying that you aren't giving all you can. I'm not saying that you aren't living the life you want to live. I'm just asking you, are you? And for a lot of people, that would trigger a moment of wow, nobody's asked me that question. Because I'm the millionaire, super successful guy that, works on Wall Street, whatever. Nobody ever asked me that question. Nobody actually cares. And that moment of wow, this dude cares about me came from questioning. which to me is like so remarkable and profound. And I started to live my entire life of work like that, to the point where I was like, all right, I got to get rid of the treadmills. They're getting in the way. Let me just work on people's minds. And I believe we are all created by whatever you believe in, the higher power be. I like to reference it as pizza, because I'm like, the closest thing to God that everybody can align with is pizza. So we'll just call it pizza for equality's sake. So if, in my experience, pizza didn't mess up on anybody. Everybody was created perfectly packaged with what they need to live the life they're supposed to live. And from that understanding, my job is not to tell you things and give you stuff. My job is to open up what's already within you. Like, there's so much in there. There's so much beauty, intuition, wisdom, inner self that is screaming to get attention. And you deserve to like tap into that. And sometimes a coach can support you in doing that.
Totally. I'm just smiling here because like this is obviously why we've connected. You know, you and I both have the same philosophy of nothing is outside of you. Mm-hmm. It's always within you, but we're typically never given the space, or maybe we don't even realize that the answers can be within us until we're prompted by typically something outer, or maybe an inner experience. But you're saying in your case, it's been you holding the space as the coach, asking the questions for them to come to their own conclusions because the answers have always been within them.
Yep. And isn't it crazy? Like, the people who need that the most, those people, Bridget, are those are the super successful people. Those are the people who are killing it. Those are the people who are doing well. And they've reached a certain limitation that is only created by themselves, right? And we all experience this at some point, whether your limitation happened at this age or that age, or a certain amount of money number, or a relationship status, or whatever. The limitations we perceive in our lives are the ones we create, is a belief that I have. And if that's the truth, and if you can play with that idea, it doesn't have to be your truth, but try it on. If that's the case, then shouldn't our focus be working on the stories that we tell ourselves that create those limitations? Because they're coming from a belief system. Money doesn't grow on trees. So like, you having an abundant amount of income is predicated on that belief system you have. And if you want to feel empowered, you need to look at your belief systems and ask, are these aligned with the life that I say I want? And if they're not, I'm going to be in incredible resistance every day, because I'm supposed to have $1 million, but money doesn't grow on trees. So I self-sabotage anytime I get an immense amount of money coming my way, or anytime I have the opportunity to create that. So I think that, yes, when we talk about living a limitless life, which is when I shot you a title, because my program is called Project Limitless. It's very cheesy when you say it out loud, but I really believe that when we get to a space of inner awareness, of inner wisdom, tapping into self, that you start to like just demolish all the limitations that you created. Take ownership. You freaking created those things. Nobody else did that to you. Like, and maybe they did, and you accepted it. And like, the other way could be like, no, my mom did that. Good, blame it on her. And then you're stuck under her power forever. But what if you just said, all right, listen, my mom did it for 10 years, and now it's my job. It's my job to be in control of how I perceive it going forward.
Totally. We could take this in so many different directions, because, you know, it's the topic of victim mindset to creator mindset. It's this idea of the answers already within you. It's the idea of abundance around you. But what I'm always curious about the backstory of, like, were you always into this kind of like motivational work? Did you always have this like knowingness within you that there was greatness? Like, where did you come from?
That last question is something that I've never been asked, because I don't think I'm at a point in my life where people are like calling me and saying, how'd you get that great? So it's an unusual question to be asked, and I'm gonna go with it because I'm so stoked that you asked it. So this is from a young age, and I don't know the answer to where this came from. The best thing I got is that I have two of the greatest humans on the planet who happen to be my parents. So like, and my siblings are the most amazing support system in my life, and always have been. So when I think about my family, they were such a huge integral part of my growing up. I think from a young age, like 6, I thought that I'm meant to be like something that the world's never seen before. And there was a point in my life where it was an arrogant phase. like probably senior year of high school, maybe a little before that, 8th grade-ish, right? I was this like, I'm hot shit type of energy. And it quickly shifted. And I don't know what it did that shifted, but I was quickly humbled as real life came around and I started to see like, I think this is what happens. I'm working this out as we say.
Yeah,
This is so cool. Thank you for taking me on a therapy session right now. So I think it is so powerful when we come to the realization that like the humility to be humble in your pursuit of greatness is such a powerful moment. But what people often do is they say, I thought I was hot stuff, and then I have to stop that and say I'm not because it's arrogant or because it's pompous. I did the opposite. I got more stoked, but I shifted it from a humble space. Like I've been given this gift to speak. I've been given this gift to connect with people. I have a billion best friends. I always get made fun of for that. Like, oh, everybody's your best friend. Yeah, because I connect with people deeply in moments. And I don't know where it came from. Again, I think it's maybe background of parents and just the situations they put me in. But it is something I always thought I was going to be something special. I still think I do. I still think I'm going to change the world on a massive scale in a great way and serve people on a high level. And the more I believe it, the more it starts happening. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. And it's from a truly, I can say this now, it's from a humble space, like like tons of humility when I say that, because it's out of so much gratitude that I believe it in a way. I don't know if that's making any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. Like how I'm hearing it is like your parents probably planted these seeds for you when you were younger, whether they knew it or not. So you just had this like, I can do it attitude. It was almost like that was the mantra. And I'm saying this because I had a similar upbringing with parents being like, you can do it. You can do it. And just this knowingness of like, yes, I can. Like, I'm going to make it happen. And like, I'm going to create a beautiful world for myself. And like, here you are doing the same for all the people that you're able to coach, the communities that you build, like everything that you do is almost like it was because of that seed planted when we were young.
Yep, absolutely. And I want to create the moment for somebody, because maybe this will be that moment for somebody. There was an integral moment, and I don't know when it was or what it was, but there was a moment where trust became a huge part of my life. Mm-hmm. Trusting that no matter what's happening, it's working for me. And I had a kind of tough relationship with my dad growing up. We just butt heads because we're so similar. So like nothing terrible. Like he's the greatest, and he did everything and anything to give me the best life ever. And I'm so grateful for that. And he was a pain in the ass 96% of the time and drove me crazy. And I think when I shifted into understanding and trusting that all of that I was so angry about, how he did this, how he said that, how he treated me, whatever, when I started to trust that was perfect for the life that I'm supposed to live, that is so purposeful and aligned with where I'm going, it almost was like this, oh, now I get it. I'm not supposed to fight that. I'm supposed to lean into it. Mm-hmm. And that is my superpower. And I think so many people right now are likely listening and saying like, nah, you don't get it. Like my situation is really tough, like actually tough. And I'm saying, man, the situation that is tough for you is actually going to be the key to your glory, the gateway to your glory. It is the thing that's going to empower you to live your fullest life. And it won't ever be that until you accept that it is. You need to integrate it, or I invite you to integrate it into your life as your greatest gift. How can the loss of that loved one be your greatest gift? How can that horrible relationship be your greatest gift? How can flunking out of school be your greatest gift? All of it's working for you, just choosing for it to. So like pieces put in your place for it to be a gateway to where you got to go. And the only thing that's stopping you on that path is the blockades that you're generating. And when we become limitless is when we start to trust that all that's happening is working for us and with us. And it is like a jetpack on your back. You just start to explode into the life that you were truly meant to live.
I couldn't agree more. And I'm such a visionary. I'm like, what would the world look like if more people were living a limitless life? And I'm curious, like, what your idea of the world would be like if more people were living like that.
Honestly, it'd be crazy.
Crazy. So cool.
It would be wild. I'm thinking about like some of the people that I know in my life who have gifts that they don't see, right? Like some of the people I've coached, Project Limitless is my 8-week mindset coaching experience where I work with groups of people and they come in for 8 weeks and we just dive into our belief systems, because I come from the space of our beliefs generate our thoughts generate our actions, and our actions create our reality. So if you have a problem with your reality, don't be focusing on what you're doing wrong. Don't be focusing on the thoughts that are going wrong. Just focus on what you believe about you in the world. And if you can work on those things and make them work for you, your reality will be a reflection of that. So when we get these people in here, it's so amazing because I don't know how to say it. Just because I've been around the work so much, I've grown accustomed to seeing people as they can be before they see themselves as that. And I think that's why people pay lots of money to do the work with me and lots of money to spend, sessions together, because they can't see what I see in them. And I just give them the space to see it. It's not like I'm giving them, hey, do this step and that step to create the limitless life. I don't know what the steps are for you. I'm not that wise. Maybe when I'm 90, I'll be able to sit on here and like tell you the rules of life. I'm not there, not even close. I don't know if I ever will be. And truthfully, I don't know if I want to be. I love the feeling of watching somebody do that for themselves. The best feeling in the world is when somebody finishes a 8 weeks with me, or does a 6-month commitment with me, or works with a year with me, and they're like, yo, my life is on hyperdrive and I did that. It's like my goal is for my client to never say Nick did it for me. It's the best feeling in the world to watch them, because you be like you said did it, because the point of it is you need to be able to do it for you. I can't do it for you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's making any sense.
You make so much sense. Yeah, you and I are very much in the same wavelength, because I've always said, like, a teacher or a mentor or a coach doesn't tell you what to do, and they don't fix you. First of all, you're not broken. You just forgotten who you are. And second of all, you do the healing. Like, you do the healing. You do the quote unquote fixing of yourself. Everyone who's supporting you is simply just like the conduit, and helps you realize that you've already had it within yourself this entire time. And, talk about empowerment, because empowerment isn't, I'm going to tell you to do it this way. It's, hey, here's who you really are. Like, embrace it, go for it, take responsibility for yourself, and like live your limitless life, because it's already within you.
Yeah, 100%. And when somebody receives that, I can't even say when I give it to them, when somebody receives that and just becomes aware of it, everything opens up. Because all the things that you said were problems, you realize that the problem, not the problems, you respect the problem. And then those things become your superpower. So if you have all these problems, this is the game-changing moment when I work with people. When they come in with this needs to be worked on, this is broken, this needs to be fixed, blah, blah, blah. They give me the lowdown and all the shit that's going on in their lives. When I am able to go on the journey with them, for them to experience this feeling of like, wait, all this stuff that's a problem actually isn't a problem. I was getting mad at this for the last 10 years. And then they switch that off, and it's amazing. A month later, they hit that money thing that they wanted to hit their whole lives. A month later, they get that job that they said they wanted. A month later, they get that relationship that was impossible to get because nobody cares about me or loves me. It is crazy. And for the big, like, my one-on-ones I work with a very specific type of person. They're super high achievers, like 2-3 on the Enneagram. I don't know if I'm saying the word right. Yeah. Like they're kind of like that type of person, very like me. For that type of person, they're already successful. They're already making money. They already have maybe a good relationship. They already are killing the game in a lot of ways. And everybody would say they're killing it. They're living that good life. But they know deep down that, like, nah, I'm meant to be something like phenomenal, and I'm at great. Like, great is good. Like that, I like great, but I'm trying to get to phenomenal, and there's a block in the road. And when we do this work, they're so smart already. They're so wise, so already. What they need is to go deep within to get the answer to create that limitless experience. And when they do that, it's the floodgates open. It's crazy. So like, yes, that type of coaching, it is very, very, very valuable. Very valuable for people. Like, I don't even know if there can be a number on it, because what happens in your life, there's no like valuing it. It's crazy when you feel like the road is nonstop and you just keep driving. It's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm curious for you, like, do you read? Do you have like teachers? Do you have mentors? How did you come to this understanding of who you are on your own journey?
As you said that, I think I'm realizing right now, like this is the first time I'm saying this, but I think life has become my number one mentor. What a cheesy freaking thing to say. But seriously, my number one teacher right now is how Pizza's throwing stuff at me all the time. So like before, I would look for a mentor or a book or a Google to give me answers for certain things, which is great and important. Now, having like put so much attention and focus on checking in with myself, it's like the tiny little moments in life that happen. And when I open my eyes to what's going on right now, it's always giving me a ridiculous, like an abundant amount of lessons that I can't find on Google and nobody can actually explain to me. So that's been my number one mentor, teacher in the last, I would say this is the past like year or two.
Yep.
Simultaneously, I have right now 3, 4, 5 coaches for myself. 5 coaches. So I have a coach, a high business life coach. I have a life or a couples coach. I have another business coach, and I have an accountability coach. So all of which, cost me a pretty penny and make me a much prettier penny.
Yep.
And not just like financially, wisdom wise, like emotionally, spiritually. I literally just got off an hour-long couple session with my girlfriend and our coach. There's not actually today we were working on some stuff, but most days we're not there to do damage control. There's nothing broken. We're just there to expand together. And like, to me, if you're not growing with somebody, you're growing away from them. If you're growing and they're not, you are distancing. So to me, if I'm trying to create more, like the things that I want are distant from me, so I need to do the work to meet it. It's like couples coaching. If I'm light years ahead in terms of growing myself and she's falling behind, we got a problem. If my goals are way far ahead and I'm falling behind, there's a problem. I need to do the work to match that vibration of that $1 million, of that car, of that house, of that business that I desire. It could be material things if that's what your vibe is, or it's an experience, a life experience. Like, I want to create big retreats with Project Limitless people. That's like, I can't do that sitting and not working on myself and expanding from the person that I currently am. So I do the work to expand and evolve and look what needs to keep being pulled out of me. So yes, the answer is I got a whole lot of coaches going on for sure.
I love it. And I have to touch upon your first answer because, I'm a yogi. I teach yoga as part of my life's work. And one of the greatest sayings in Kundalini yoga is your greatest teacher is your own experience.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Like,
that's bomb.
That's how we learn. And it reminded me of kind of like part of the self-development journey. I think we kind of start with consumption, right? We're like reading new books. We're starting to understand new concepts. We're gaining wisdom. Then it comes a point in time where we start to like turn the tables and start to disseminate the wisdom and start to like share and start to coach and start to mentor people. And then there becomes like the refinement phase where you just start going through life and you're like, oh shit, here's the lesson. Like, here it actually is. Like, now I'm really learning what I learned in those books.
Absolutely. Yeah, there is that's a beautiful way. And I wonder if that's everybody's experience. It's very similar to what happened to me, right? And there are books that were profound and like, don't judge yourself, whatever part or season you're in your life, where like you could be 50 or 60 and like opening your first book to evolve the person that you are, and really go towards the life that you envision. Or you could be 12. Like, age is to me, age is a number. It's about an inner age and level that you want to be on. So yes, it started for me very much just getting educated. Like, oh, this is cool. I like, what's self-help? What is learning about this? And it's a really, I'll also say from kind of a depressing side, it's a very dangerous thing as well for a lot of people, in that, in my experience, they think that movement or productivity or expansion is happening by just taking in information. And like, information means very, very little without actually taking action and creating what it is you want for your life. So there are people who are so informed and will go to their deathbed with that information and nothing's ever happened with it. And I think that's where I get a little scared with education. Like, education really is about memorizing and taking in information and seeing how much information can you have. And often we get stuck on the implementation and actually sharing. So yeah, 100%. It starts with learning stuff. And then are you able to create a life around these things you're learning and expand in them? And I'm still in this, by the way. I'm not saying it from like a do it like me thing. Like, I'm learning it as I talk about it. But it definitely hits a spot, Bridget, where like, whoa, life is literally the book that I've been wanting to read, that I've been asking everybody about. What book should I read? Then you just start seeing things. That's why I can, and then I'll be quiet for a second. That's why I can speak. I don't prepare. Like you said, I think we're aligned in this. I have never prepared for a speaking engagement. I speak on stages with a lot of people. I get paid to do it. I've never prepared for a call with the groups that I've worked with. I've never prepared for a podcast. Like, people send me write-ups about what we're going to talk about on the podcast. I'll read the topic, but like, I'm not prepared, because life is my preparation. You know, like I'm always reading the book. There's never a pause in that, in my perspective. So I just get into the moment. I channel whatever vibe I want to be in that moment, and I let that flow, and I trust that whatever needs to be accessed within me, it's already within me. It'll come out. I'll say what I have to say. I'll tap into that inner wisdom. Like, I think that it starts with a little bit of trust and tapping into that inner experience.
I couldn't agree more. We have 2 more questions as we close out our time together. Number 1 is a comment, and you might know the answer or you might not. It's a question about the Enneagram. Do you have a specific site that you use to like do the quiz personally, Nick?
I do not.
Okay.
Sorry.
We'll save that one on the back burner. What are you? What number are you?
I think I haven't done it in a long time. I think I'm 3-2. Like,
I'm a 3 also.
There we go. Yeah. I'm 3 is my spot. Like, yeah, it's very me.
This makes sense. Awesome. So last but not least, like, tell us about the program. This sounds amazing. Totally.
Yeah. So this is an 8-week mindset coaching experience that was created out of necessity for myself. I was in the beginning of the pandemic thing and like needed good energy around me. And I was like, man, let me just create a group of people to hang out with. And then I was already coaching at that point, one-on-one, and speaking. And I was like, let me just create like some type of, like, people were asking me to do something like that. I just didn't know how to make it happen. So I really, truly created it. I created the name from a space of, I want to feel limitless. That would be cool. That's how the name came about. So I called the project Limitless, and people signed up, and it was the craziest thing that people signed up because I had no idea what to tell them that we were doing. I said, we're going to meet every week. We're going to spend an hour and a half doing mindset coaching as a group. And then 3 days a week, we're going to do little bursts, what I call them turn up, tune ups, call them 2-2s, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 15 minutes. I'm going to jazz you up and give you some motivation to go on with your day. And we're going to do that for 8 weeks. And people somehow trusted me because it's people who knew me and saw my work and whatever. So they trusted me, and it started, and they built out the experience. And that was the beginning of the pandemic. And now it's become what it's become, but it is this wild, and Bridget, I mean, wild experience of profound perspective shifting and enlightenment that they create for themselves. I don't bring any enlightenment to the space. Like, it's them doing it. And incredible community and profound impact being made and just huge adjustments in life. It is so cool to watch because we have people 50 years old doing it, doctors, therapists, teachers, entrepreneurs, athletes. Like, it's just a wide variety of people. And it's all people who want to expand. That's like the criteria. Are you willing to invest in yourself and expand? And it's not like, $10 to do this thing. It's an investment, of a financial investment, but more than anything, a time, energy, and attention investment, which I think when you get to a space where you realize that those are your most important commodities, it's just a profound 8-week experience for me. I'm like, it's not fair. Like, this can't be real life that I get paid to do this.
Yeah.
But it is deep inner work. And again, I'll say this. I said it before, that our beliefs are the foundation of it all. And my special sauce, my ability, my gift is to be able to, in a group space, illuminate people's beliefs, allow everybody in the space to notice how their beliefs align or don't. And then together, we all go through that beliefs, thoughts, actions, reality experience. Mm-hmm. And it's when you start to grab a hold of your belief systems that you have subconsciously just shoved down and not paid attention to, and you make them a priority and working on them and paying attention to them, and you shift them to align with the life you say you want, you literally feel limitless. Not feel, you are limitless. You can do anything you want with your life. It's crazy. So that's what it is. And I also do one-on-one coaching, but that's more of kind of like, as I said, like a little more intimate, private experience. But that group coaching thing, if you want to try and see what group coaching is about, if you want to dabble, if anything that you felt in this call, like it jazzed you up a little bit, it's likely a signal that we should just jump on a call and connect.
I love it. You have the most incredible energy. So I know that anyone who enters like your space is going to feel this like refreshing resurgence of who they are. Like,
ooh, yes. I love that.
It's like beyond that though. I can feel it. So incredible. How can people find you? How can they join the program if they'd like to?
Yep. So I'm sure you'll have links up for our application for Project Limitless. We start our next cohort end of June. I don't know when this goes out, but end of June is our next cohort. And it happens every 3-4 months. And you also can just reach out to me to connect and learn more about any of this stuff if it's the right thing for you. Truthfully, I think people need to be in the right space to do coaching. Like, they need to be in the space to say, I'm open to coaching. It's like the number one criteria to start the process. Are you open to doing coaching? Great. Then we can talk. So if you're feeling like you're open to expanding and evolving your life and taking it to the next level, wherever you're at, definitely reach out to me. My Instagram is where I'm at most, at I am Nick Pags. And you can also email me, nickpagsllc@gmail.com. And I'm just, DM is so simple. I'm there.
Awesome. This has been a really, really just fun conversation. We've probably gone longer than I typically do. It's just like flown so naturally. So just thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing everything that you do. It's awesome.
Thank you, Bridget. This is awesome. Please keep doing this. The world needs more of you, girl. Keep it going. I appreciate you.
And thank you to everyone who supports this show. I've been sharing this, small little snippets, but the big dream with this show is for this to be a talk show on TV. I want the world to hear empowering stories because I'm sick of the bullshit on the news, all of the fear mongering. There are people out there like you, Nick, who have so much to give this world. And we need to be bringing forth these really, really empowering messages right now. So that's the big mission. If you know someone who can help me bring this show to TV, I don't even know what that would look like, but we never do when we don't know how when we have a dream. So just let me know, send me a message, and just thank you guys so much for being here. And thank you so much, Nick, for your work in the world.
Thank you. Appreciate it.